It's going good, man. Living life, man. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good, good.
Thank you for sitting down today. Really
Abs-
appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, bro.
Um, let's just get right into it, all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, let's start off. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in North Carolina. I was born in Durham, North Carolina. You know, um, yeah, on the East Coast. Made it a long ways over here to the West Side. I like to think I'm a traveler. You know what I mean? It's crazy that it says I'm still here. I've been here and I've been there. But I've been here for a while, so I love the West Coast. But yeah, I'm from the East Coast, man. You know, yeah.
Born in North Carolina. How'd you What was your childhood like?
I was raised in a single parent home, like a lot of other brown males. My mother raised me and my brother. I had a good upbringing. My mother raised me with respect, like I said, I was born in the South, born in North Carolina. Just growing up over there, it's like, it was real cheap living, real good living, country living, really good food. Soul food is what we have over there, a lot of soul food. So, you eating good, people are really nice, I believe that's why I'm still here is because I was raised with morals and respect, and to do the right thing, and ultimately that'll lead you to being in better places and actually still being here, So, yeah, man, it was a great experience. It made me who I am today. It made it so that I'm still here right now, like I said, So I can't there's no complaints. It's great. Life is great. Life was great growing up. My mother did the best she could, and she provided a great life. Kept us in sports, and yeah, I'm thankful for my experience growing up there in the Carolinas in the South.
What kind of sports did you play growing up?
Mainly I played baseball when I was a kid. I played baseball, and I think in middle school I decided to play football, and then that's when I stopped playing baseball to pursue football. That got me a scholarship to a Division II school in Michigan, and yeah, never. I tried to play basketball one time. It was funny, and it's so crazy. The coach was like cursing at me at one practice, and he was cursing at me more than everybody else. And then I just didn't feel comfortable with that, So I didn't play basketball no more after that. That's funny, but yeah, I played football. I had some good support system there, so they made sure that I was performing at the top of my ability in the classroom and life and on the field. So that was where I found my leadership role and stuff like that, And football, yeah, that was where it was for me. I enjoyed football. I thought I was gonna go to the NFL. I actually got a 4.3 time for a 40-yard dash. I ran it in 4.3 seconds. It's like the second fastest in the nation in 2011. I thought I was going to the NFL, man. No lie, you can look this information up. Um, I ran it at an ESPN combine. It was recorded with a laser actually. So I did this and I said laser, but it had like a laser machine. So yeah, it was that was my football. I loved football. So yeah, football and baseball. Yeah, a little bit of basketball, but not too long.
Nice. That's good. So you had sports growing up. Any other activities or hobbies that you did when you were younger that have you know
Oh yeah, I used to. I always wanted to be a rapper. I know that sounds like stereotypical or like that's what everybody wants to be, especially now. But growing up, I got into rapping. I really liked expressing. I felt that I could do it. I write poetry now, so I really think that things from our childhood that we find that spark us kind of come back later on. It all comes back around, and you find even if it's not the same thing, it's something that resonates with what something that sparks you when you were young. So for anybody that's looking for a passion and stuff, just look back to when you were young, and whatever it was that kind of gave you some enthusiasm. Some of those same things along those lines may still bring you enthusiasm today. It's hard to find enthusiasm. So I'm happy that I write poetry, and yeah, me and I used to bowl too. Actually, I used to bowl a lot, but I wasn't doing it in a league or nothing. I just did that for fun. I used to do that with my family a lot. That's something we used to do as a family. When I was in the South, we was family based. A lot of things we did as a family. I have a huge family, We would get together, family reunions, cooking on the grill, playing cards, listening to music. This was a normal thing. You get what I mean? And then we'll see you walking down the street, and then we'll be like, "Hey, you want some food? Hey, you want to come over?" Not even knowing who you are, just because you're walking down our street. So that's where I come from. And it's kind of hard to not see that in the world sometimes. Because like I said, I travel. I'm a traveler. So I went to school in Michigan. Like I said, I got to do a scholarship for football to school in Michigan. That's where my college was. So I lived in the Midwest for 5 years. I've been over here for about 10 years now. Been through a lot of ups and downs here in Humboldt County, but I'm still here, and it's just amazing. It's amazing when you can say that. That's part of the reason why I want to do this interview, because it resonated with me so much. There's a lot of people that I know out of my time that's been here who's like left, or who had to like just go because of certain reasons. California will chew you up and spit you out if you let it. So I'm still here, and that's not anything to say in a bragging right, but it is in a way, because it's the truth, and the truth rules all. So, and I'm happy to say it. I'm grateful to say that I'm still here. You know, it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, man.
Sure. Well, let's see here. Oh, it's all good. Alright, what else we got? Let's see here. So it sounds like you had a good childhood, man, growing up with the family, and like that's where I came from as well. Big family get-togethers, jamming out, all the music instruments get pulled out, big fires, a lot of food, just hanging out. Like that's so I definitely resonate with that, man.
Oh yeah.
Is there any was there any like big challenges or just anything crazy that you were when you were younger that ultimately shaped who you are today, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. My grandmother passed away when I was like 13 years old, and I had to overcome a lot of stuff at that time, because I don't know, just being so young and then trying to grasp the concept of somebody that raised you. Because my grandmother raised me too. She was part of the person, like, she was part of my upbringing. Because, like I said, I was raised in a single parent home. Sometimes my mom have to work. It's only her. She got two kids. Her mom has to take care of us. So my grandmother was really important. I got her tattooed on my arm here, but she passed away when I was like 13 or 14, and being in a single parent home. You can make bad decisions sometimes if you're led astray, or not even if you're led astray. Like, just one wrong decision can be worse than you think. One wrong decision can just be the wrong thing. So um, when my grandmother passed away, I kind of just went to the streets, and like, kind of just like, cause she was my backbone. You know what I'm saying? She was like, she was everything for me at that time. She was like my support system. Like, she was my number one. Ace boom coon, as I like to say. So when she passed away, it kind of just left a void in me, and I just was so young, I didn't understand a lot, and then I was like trying to play football and trying to stay in school, but a lot of those things kind of fell away from me. So when I ended up getting myself back on track, 6 months to a year later, with the help of my coaches, you know, it was like, man, I got to stay on this. And then I realized I was really good in football. Then I got a scholarship, and everything just started falling into place by making a good decision. So it was that for me. That challenge for me is like, when you losing something so precious to you, like, how are you going to respond, or how are you going to respond when things go really bad, or how are you going to respond when you make a wrong decision and you realize you're going down the wrong path. So that was a challenge for me to overcome, like the streets, dealing with like shady individuals, dealing with drugs, dealing with the gangs, dealing with all the things that come with those things, bro. So that was huge for me, to overcome that challenge. And I know a lot of people can resonate with that, because living in America is not all peaches and cream. As they like, as people from other countries like to think. There is opportunity, and I love this country, but a lot of the people in the cities and the urban, like the youth, like we grow up seeing like a lot of violence and experiencing it, and I know that that's the truth now, especially like in the cities. And it's very important to overcome and not get caught in that trap, because when you do overcome, it's so worth it on the other side. And the thing is not that many people get to make it through. You get what I mean? Because they make the wrong decision, or wrong place, wrong time, you know? But that's also along the lines of making the wrong decisions too, you know? So you just got to be real wise, you know, and listen to your intuition. It's already inside you, you know what I mean? That's what I did. That's how I'm still here, you know?
Sounds like you'd say your coaches and your grandmother and your mother were mentors and big influences on you.
Absolutely. That my granddad was too. He's still alive, and you know I'm happy. I gotta go back and see him. He's over there on the East Coast, you know. So I'm gonna go back and see him soon. But yeah, they were great mentors for me. It's important to have mentors, you know. Without it, it's like it's hard. It could be hard.
Has there been any just crazy significant events in the last? You say you've been up here in Humboldt for the last decade.
Yeah.
So has there been any like crazy significant events in this last decade up here in Northern California, Humboldt County, that has ultimately changed your life for the good or the bad?
It's funny. Life works in funny, mysterious ways, you know. Like kind of how I'm doing this interview right now. It's ironic. In my poetry, I talk a lot about, you know, my psycho spiritual incident where this is like the first thing that really like kind of shifted and shaped my experience here is when like I overdosed. I overdosed on a drug like when I first moved out here, when I was partying and making bad decisions, you know. So it's amazing that I'm still here through all of those things, but when I had that near death experience, that really changed my outlook on like what I'm able to do with my life and how I would regret it all if I had died. You get what I'm saying? How I would regret the fact that I didn't do this or do that, or just have the willpower to just go and do it, just because, not even if it meant anything. Because when that moment when I almost felt like I was gonna die, I felt like, dude, there was so much that I didn't do or that I didn't get a chance to do. So it was in that moment that I realized, like, dude, I gotta fucking, if I get out of this, dude, I gotta fucking take advantage of life. And then after that, I ended up doing a TED talk on my poetry, like a spoken word piece on a TED talk. Like it's on YouTube today. You can find it. So you know, it's about having those realizations and being fortunate and lucky enough to make it through certain situations if you make the wrong decisions, you know. But that was one thing that definitely shifted and shaped it, my experience here, and that changed, like when I did the TED talk, that changed like how people viewed me, how I viewed myself, and I just went off to do amazing things after that, like with my poetry on PBS and stuff. So you know, one thing leads to another, and great decisions lead to more great decisions, you know, and the bad to the bad. But you know, that was one thing, you know, and yeah, I would say that was one thing that was bad. But like I was saying, the oxymoron part is like, you know, bad things happen, but you can also you get good things from that. Like I said, it's how you respond to things. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, a bad situation could have happened, right? But it's like, how am I going to respond to that situation? Am I going to respond negatively, or am I going to be positive about it and like step forward up to the plate and do something about it? You know, in a positive way. And I know it sounds cliche for somebody to talk like that, but when you really break it down, that's really how it is. You know, that's really what it is. And you know, there's something to be taken positive out of every situation, no matter if it's negative or positive. And there could be something negative taken out of a positive situation. You get what I mean? So it's like it's all in how you see it. You know, it's like it's a thin line. You know, it's a silver lining. You know what I mean? And that's the best way. That's how you can still be here. You know what I mean? You got to see the silver lining in a lot of stuff. You know, and that's from my point of view. Just trying to share a little bit of game to somebody else who may see the same point of view. Because that's ultimately what it's about, perspective.
A lot of people find it hard to see the positive in things.
Especially after we went on lockdown for so long for what we did for what the things we were going through at the time, where the whole country, the whole world went on lockdown for the sickness. And ever since then, a lot of things have been different, and that's a whole another thing, That's a whole another thing. Some people would say that, oh, that was planned so that things would be this way, so that we could be ruled more, So divide and conquer. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm furthest thing from that, but it doesn't take a blind man to see that like something has changed with like the nature of human communication and relation and just some fabric of us has changed, and we don't know if that's from being socially locked down or if it's from other things that also took place during that time that we were mandated to do to keep jobs and stuff like that. So we're not going to get too deep on those things, but the most important thing is that to realize that there is a change and that we have to do something about it. And like I was saying before this interview, before we cut the camera on, it's like it's up to people like me and you to like it's our job to do it, because the people who put us in this situation, or the minds that were responsible for putting us in this situation, definitely aren't going to do anything about making the situation better as far as me and you go. You get what I mean? And me and you go. You get what I mean? So it's up to us, people that have like light within them, people who have common sense, which we all do, which we all have light inside of us. So it's time that we use it. We got to step up to the plate. And that's going to be a reason why a lot of us will still be here if we do that. If not, it may not look good for a lot of us. So we just got to make sure that we step up to the plate and do the right thing. Yeah, bro. Simply said.
Simply said. Simply said. What's something that you're working on today that gives your life meaning and purpose?
Um, Something that I'm working on today that gives my life meaning and purpose. I am constantly working on my poetry. I I I work as an independent like contractor, and I love what I do for work, for my career. So that keeps me going. I help other people for what I do for my work. Um, and like I said, I'm always working on my poetry. I'm working on some new ideas as far as like I came up with a season that was inspired by like Bob Ross. He has the what's the joy of painting or something like that. But I kind of put a spin on it and like came up with an episode of writing with Rashad, the joy of poetic expression, where I teach people how to write and using my methods and like showing people how I write, since I've like gained a little bit of notoriety with my work. So, and I just thought that was really cool, and it was also inspirational at the same time, because like I would talk about what I was going through in my life and what would make me write something like what I'm writing, like in my poems. You know what I mean? Like you got to keep going, and it was all just like off the brain, and you would kind of get like a view inside my head of like what was going on and what would make me write the way I do, influencing other people that showing them they could do the same thing. So I'm working on season 2 of that, better than before, and people they really liked it, and it was new, like what you're doing with this. I'm still here, this is a brilliant idea. So we just got to keep working, and that's what I'm doing. I'm like working on what I love to do, and that's what's really keeping me going, and bringing a lot of excitement to my life still, even though I have to do a lot more things to be here.
Where's the where's that at?
Where's what?
Your project, that writing with Rashad.
Oh, it's on YouTube actually. I have on YouTube, and then I have my website worldclasspoetry.com. You can go to that, and that'll be like a little link, so you can go to all my different videos on YouTube. But um, yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. It's up there. It's cool.
What's like the biggest challenges about doing? You say you're a self-contractor and you help people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you could elaborate on that a little bit further and maybe like explain some challenges that come with doing something like that, and also like in the creative process of writing poetry,
Mm-hmm.
challenges or things like that
Right
that
on.
you
Right
might be
on.
able to explain how to overcome.
Right on. Right on. Well, when it comes to like the nature of what I do, I have to keep that restricted for business purposes and for like contracts and stuff. But I do a lot of preventative maintenance, making sure that the world can eat, sleep, and drink water safely in an effective manner, and where there's no bacterial or any chemical like exposure that could happen to us, from staying somewhere or drinking something like water or in food places and stuff like that, Yeah, production areas and stuff like that. So I do a lot of inspections and make sure that things are up to code as far as sanitation and structural issues. And it was really big for me to get into that role because I had never done that before, and that's a big role. As you know, when I'm explaining those things to you, it's not like a light responsibility. You get what I mean? You have to have a lot of responsibility. So it was nerve wracking for me when you ask yourself, "Can you do something?" You get what I mean? When you're like, okay, you think that you can do it, but like other people who fill these shoes, they're great people who done this. Like it's just not. It's like it's a very serious thing. And to overcome that feeling of being nervous or scared, it's just best to just go out there and with the best attitude and just do it. The best mindset, knowing that you can do it. You get what I mean? That's the best way to do it. And you're not going to know how to do it all at first. But it's confident. It's the confidence to have to know that you will learn after trial and error. You know? And there's nothing wrong with that because people see that you're trying. There's nothing if unless you've been trained. And no, it's like if you haven't, then you try and trial and error. And you will succeed after a while. You get what I mean? That's just the way that it goes. Like so that's the best way to do it. That's the best practice. And it takes willpower and guts to do that. To step forward and still do it, knowing that maybe you don't really know exactly what you're doing because nobody's trained you, right? But you're going to try. You're going to do your best. You're going to be safe when you do it. And if you don't do it right, you'll try to get some help, and then you'll get the help, and then you'll move forward, and you'll get it. It's all a process. Nobody just learned everything in one day. Like Tesla didn't become Tesla just because he's just like, oh, I got this now, I'm doing this. It's like it happens over time. So we see people in high places and we see people, even our celebrities, and it's like, no, they didn't just get there. I mean, maybe some of them did, but it takes time. So it takes time and skill, and it takes time to build that skill. You get what I'm saying? And confidence. So that's one thing that I use in my poetry as well to overcome. You get what I mean? And that's one thing I preach in my poetry as well, kind of like, I guess you could say, like to overcome, to just have that strong willpower. So that was, yeah, that's why this resonates with me so much, because I talk about that willpower, that fire to keep going when shit hits the fan. Keep going. What are you gonna do when things get rocky? Like keep going. Keep your eyes on the prize.
What's something you'd say to people who can't necessarily find that in themselves, to that motivation to keep going? What's something that they could, um, like what are the basic steps of that, of maintaining that sort of idea?
You just gotta first know. Keyword is know that it's inside of you. You get what I'm saying? That it's there. And sometimes it may be weakened. It may feel weakened, but you just got to know that it's still there, and like it's around the corner. That spark is around the corner for you. It's there. You just got to find it. You got to find your reason. We all have a reason. That's what keeps us alive, believe it or not. We all have a reason. You got to think about it. What's yours? I wake up every day and I think about what's mine, and mine's change from day to day. From month to month, from year to year. As it should. This life is ever evolving, ever changing, and we should be as well. You get what I'm saying? So keep that with you. That fact right there, that it's with you. This world is forever changing, and you should be forever changing too. So if you don't have it right now, just know that. Guess what? You gotta get it, because guess what? Things gonna keep changing, and you gotta keep changing too if you want to be here.
Okay. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
um, Dude, I just appreciate the opportunity, bro. It was my time to do this. I feel like it's appropriate for me to be And this shirt here is hella dope, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm all about that, you know. At a certain point when you make it through a whole bunch of shit and you're still here, you're like, yo, I'm just cool, bro. I'm just like I'm cool, you know. I'm chilling. I'm cool, you know. And that's what this is. So, you know, I'm Rashad Hedgepeth, and I'm still here.